Hello, I am Duke. Last episode we talked about a mine engine called Rocks. And this episode shall be about the tram engine team. Starting where we left off on his story, he worked on his old railway like most Sodor survivors until the 1950s. In which, while old, and the amount of overhauls he had over the years, 5 in fact, he has made him rather weak. But he did make a run for it. He didn't make it far away from the railway before needing to rest. Tim was brought back to his old railway, being reassured that he wouldn't be scrapped. The line continued as normal until 1980. When the old controller unfortunately passed away, and another one was brought in his place. Unfortunately, he was only looking to make some quick money before abandoning the railway, of which Tim was on the line for. Eventually, Tim had assistance from one of his friends, Cassandra. Making it to England, Tim was trying to guide his friends to Sodor in hopes of returning to the mid-Sodor, knowing the only way was by ship. And so they eventually had to find a way to be smuggled onto a ship to Sodor, of which fortunately someone under the name Mr. Stafford assisted them on getting in the ship. He went with them, and for the next few days, they went from England all the way over to Didnt Harbour. However, when the ship approached Didnt Harbour, it ended up crashing into part of the port, and it put a long hole across the hull of the ship, causing it to sink fast. They unloaded all the cargo and people as fast as possible. Mr. Stafford, who went with them, was able to call out for someone to help Tim and his friend. Tim and Mr. Stafford, who was in his cab, was unloaded as the ship was nearly underwater. Unfortunately, Cassandra was unable to be saved or unloaded from the ship before the ship finished sinking, in which she didn't survive, unfortunately. Tim was put on a flatbed and was taken to the works by Jeremy, one of the harbour engines. He had a keen taking to history, and would not stop pestering Tim about how he escaped scrap and his story. During these stories, Tim found out about the closure of the mid-Sodor, of which he was greatly saddened by. Mr. Percival was interested in Tim, and with support from me, he officially bought him. For a few months, Tim was prepared, and Jeremy would visit him daily. Well, we tried to listen to even more of Tim's stories, which tended to annoy Tim. But he did it to keep Jeremy quiet. During this time, Mr. Percival set plans for a tram line, in which by 1990, work on it had begun, and by 2010, and a lot of drastic alterations from the original plans, the line was complete. After a few test runs, the line was prepared to be opened, and by 2011, the official opening of the line happened. And it was a huge success, in which Tim was renumbered to number 1, being the number 1 for the Scar-Lowry tram line, and unofficially, the Scar-Lowry Railway is number 11. Tim continues his work on the line, with Mr. Stafford as his driver. He even sees Jeremy from time to time, and still finds him annoying. However, he now has a grandfather and grandson relationship with him, and when the line is down for maintenance, Tim assists on the main work, like he has during the construction of the tram line. In fact, during the construction of the line, Tim was used to assist in quarry work, which eventually led Mr. Percival to buy a quarry engine. In fact, she was even the sister of Linda, who works on the Festiniak Railway. Mary was her name. Anyway, back to Tim. Mary is another story. So Tim even has his own coaches now. He has had quite the journey since leaving the Sodor. However, that shall end his story here. Join us next time, in which we shall focus on the horse and cart engine, Jim.